The Wolverines are a 40.5-point favorite. The over-under is 53.5. Low over-under, given the fact that Michigan is a 40.5-point favorite. Like, this really shakes out to Michigan's going to score probably in the mid-40s per the bookies. And if Bowling Green scores more than 7 points, I think that it's a late garbage time touchdown, or Michigan definitely has some big time issues. We're going to be live on this channel during the game, our watch party. So if you want a second screen, if you're watching the game on Big Ten Network, or if you don't have it, join us Saturday night for a 30-minute pregame show live the entire time and 45-minute post-game show. This show is presented by BetUS. Promo code GOBLUE, GOBLUE at chatsports.com/GoBlue. It's really meaningful for you to actually type the URL in the screen, not just Google BetUS to get this promotion. If you go to chatsports.com/GoBlue, it redirects you, tracks your account, in a good way, to this promotion. You use promo code GOBLUE, 125% deposit bonus. But also, last week expires on Sunday. It's in the live chat, and if you're watching on demand, this will go out on Thursday. Just chatsports.com/GoBlue. Type it into your computer, type it into your phone. Promo code GoBlue. You sign up deposit, 125% deposit bonus for new customers only, unfortunately, for anyone who's signed up in the past. $100 deposit or more. Make your first bet, then email us. Email us at chatsports, jersey@chatsports.com. We'll get your information, your address, your size. We'll confirm your account, of course, that you're a real account, that you did sign up, and we will ship you a Michigan football Jordan brand jersey. Great value here. You put in your 100, make a couple bets here, you get 125 deposit bonus, you got a bunch more money, and you're getting yourself a Michigan football jersey. BetUS, Chatsports, chatsports.com/GoBlue. Promo code is GoBlue. So predict the score in the comments. I'm going to Venmo $25 to the first person. I'm trying to get back here, guys. I'm trying to get back. We're giving away shirts. We gave away helmets. We gave away a bunch of shirts this past 2 weeks. And Venmos, if you can get the score right, a 50-50 raffle coming up on Saturday. $25 to the first score prediction. Don't do it in the live chat. If you're watching live on Wednesday, give me a score prediction as well. But go put it in the comments of our Wednesday night, Thursday, and our Friday videos, because that's what we're going to check. We're going to basically check the comments all week. So any video we put out from Monday through Friday this week are on demand, not in the live videos. Put in the comments the score and the score prediction. And if anybody gets it right, we will send a $25 Venmo in this one. So comment on one of the videos, comment on this preview video on Thursday, you can comment on the Wednesday one if you want. We'll go back and check all of them. Let's take a look at Bowling Green. They lost their their opener at Liberty, I should say, their season opener to Liberty. They look absolutely disastrous. Threw 5 interceptions, pulled their quarterback, their starting quarterback, but they put him back in the game, and the backup didn't do any better. He threw a pick 6 right after they got in there. So they lost on the road to Liberty 34-24. Came back, got the win this past week at home against Eastern Illinois 38-15. Now, Bowling Green, they've had the same coach for the last 5 seasons. Why is he familiar to Michigan football fans? I'm sure most of you guys, if you've been around, if you've been a fan for more than 10, 15 years, definitely if you were a fan in the 90s or the decades of the 2000s. Scot Loeffler was basically around this program for nearly 20 years. Had a short stint in Central Michigan as their OC when Mike DeBoer was the head coach there, but was a Michigan quarterback for 4 years, got injured, was there 93-96, then became a grad student assistant his last 2 years, and then a grad assistant all the way up to 1999. Left the program in 2000 to go be the offensive coordinator at Central Michigan with Mike DeBoer, who was Michigan's offensive coordinator up to 1999. Went there a couple of seasons, came back to Michigan in 2002, and had 2 quarterbacks over a 6-year stretch there. John Navarre in 2002, 2003, and then Chad Henne as his quarterbacks coach 2004, 5, 6, and 7. After 2007, he went, I can't remember where he went for 1 year, but ended up being the quarterbacks coach at Florida during Team Tebow's final year. They talked about him in the Swamp Kings documentary recently. Went on to Temple, was there with the Detroit Lions for a while, went to Virginia Tech, went to other places, Auburn, and the Detroit Lions for a season as well. So he's been all over there, but 5th season as Bowling Green's head coach, an hour south of Ann Arbor. Here's what he's done. Got the job in 2019, 3-9 record, so kind of a tough spot, but took over a program that was literally down in the dumps. 2020, 0-5. Winless seasons. They could have probably fired him. Jim Harbaugh didn't have a good year that year either. 0-5 that season, 0-5 all MAC. They played an all MAC schedule. 2021, they came back 4-8, 2-6. Last year, his 4th straight losing season, so things are looking good. There was some speculation after last year, getting down the stretch, that he was going to get fired, but was able to pick up some wins down the stretch of the year, get a winning record actually in the Mid-American Conference that gave him a little more job security. 1-1, probably 1-2 after Saturday night. I think he's got to win at least 6 games, go 6-6 or better, probably 5-3, 4-4 in the MAC, kind of keep a 500 record in both overall and conference to keep his job after this year. But here's what he said on his fellow former Michigan football quarterback, Jim Harbaugh, and the Michigan Wolverines. He says, "We watched all the Michigan film. They're a playoff team. Coach Harbaugh and his staff, I really believe, have done a wonderful job recruiting some of the best talent that we have seen at Michigan." That's longtime Michigan football assistant coach, grad assistant, student assistant, and former quarterback. The guy that Tom Brady said, hey, he's the reason I became such a good quarterback. His guidance when Brady was a junior, senior, starting in 98, 99. Scot Loeffler was a grad assistant. If you want Michigan to look flawless, I can't say if you want them to win because that just seems disingenuous. But we are, I think I've got the math right, 26 of 27. The only time it didn't happen was the Michigan State game in 2021. We put out the Wednesday or Tuesday vibes. This will go out Thursday as well. Midweek vibes. Like the video. Like this video. Putting the good vibes out in the world. Michigan will look flawless. They will look flawless against Bowling Green. 42-0 at halftime. 59-0 win. Something like that. JJ McCarthy, 22 of 23. 295 yards, 4 touchdowns. Blake Corum, 200 yards rushing. Something like that. Make sure you like the video. Don't jinx it. YouTube gives us a list of viewers now, a list of likers. If they don't match up and Michigan doesn't look flawless, something bad happens, I'm coming for you. That is a guarantee right there. So like the video. Don't be a jerk. Don't jinx it. Loeffler had more to say on this Michigan football team. He says, it really just is time at Michigan and returning to Michigan Stadium. He says, we're tremendously grateful for the relationships that I have from that place. I say this all the time, and I learned from Gary Moeller the first week I was in camp. He said, you'll never be able to repay Michigan back for what Michigan is going to do for you, and that's the message that we try to teach our players here meaning in this case, the Bowling Green State University Falcons. How about this Bowling Green staff, right? There's a little bit of Michigan flair on this Bowling Green staff. So longtime Michigan football player, Michigan football great in a lot of ways, Steve Morrison. He is their linebackers coach. Erik Campbell, Soup Campbell. This is the one, I mean, he's been there for the entire time Loeffler's been there. I remember him going there. I kind of forgot about it. But Soup Campbell was one of the great wide receiver coaches at Michigan in the history of college football. Really, look at his production when he was at Michigan from the mid-'90s up until 2007. For some reason, Rich Rod didn't keep him on staff. He went around college football, etc., was out of football for a while. Now he's been at Bowling Green for a couple years. But Michigan went 8, 9, 10 years straight with a 1,000-yard receiver, Braylon Edwards, Mario Manningham, Ty Streets, David Terrell, etc., etc. And he didn't really pick up anywhere else. I'm not really sure why. How about Kevin Tolbert, a guy who's worked for Jim Harbaugh in different phases, was at Michigan on the strength staff 2015 to 17. He is now the strength coach at Bowling Green. Also was with Harbaugh 2011 to 2014. All 4 seasons Jim Harbaugh was at Stanford. Kevin Tolbert was his strength coach with Stanford, the 49ers. Prior to that, he was with Stanford. So he spent 2009 to 14, 6 straight years with Harbaugh, Stanford and the 49ers, and then Harbaugh's first 3 years at Michigan. I think they let him go for, performance issues. Michigan really wasn't, pushing guys off the ball in 2017. They brought in some new blood. That's fine. Was also with Michigan. Tolbert was 2001 through 2007. So this guy between Harbaugh and Michigan has basically spent, 15, 18 years of his professional career. Kevin Tolbert, he is the strength coach there at Bowling Green. So some Michigan players, 4 of their core staff members have a ton of Michigan ties, including, of course, head coach Scot Loeffler. Let's take a look at the players to watch for Bowling Green, mostly focused on the offense, because if Michigan's going to win, Bowling Green's going to win this game or give Michigan some troubles, they're going to have to make it happen on offense. I'm not really too concerned about the Michigan offense struggling with the Bowling Green defense. You might remember this name, Connor Bazelak, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. I think I am. This season so far, 29 to 49, 390 yards, 3 interceptions, 3 touchdowns, right? Really bad game, 3 picks in their opener in that loss to Bowling Green. I'll talk more about Bazelak here in a second. Terrion Stewart, the running back, 17 carries, 106 yards, 2 touchdowns in the 2 games. Teron Keith, somebody to keep an eye out for this one. He's not the biggest threat running the ball. He's a running back. 6 catches in 2 games, 123 yards. But in his first 2 years at Bowling Green, 2021 and 2022, 61 catches. So, mid-20s the first year, 36, I believe it was, catches in 2022, his second year as a backup running back. So they can sneak him out of the backfield a bunch, get some catches. He can make some things happen, certainly do some damage. And then their tight end is their leading receiver right now. Harold Finnan Jr. is a tight end, 9 catches, 138, and a touchdown. Let's go over to Connor Bazelak. So his stats so far this year, we just talked about a second, but look at these stats here, 25 of 49. What is that picture of? Is that a Michigan helmet? This guy has literally been everywhere. He was actually Indiana. He's at Indiana for one season, starting quarterback last year. As I started to do my research in August about the different teams Michigan was playing this year, I'm like, how do I know that name? Certainly looked him up, took a look. Oh yeah, he was Indiana's quarterback this past year. They didn't play that well against that bad against Michigan, right? He was sacked 7 times in the game. Was not only Indiana's starting quarterback last year, he was at Missouri for 3 years prior to that. So he was Missouri's starting quarterback in 2020, the COVID shutdown season. Some pretty good stats. 2,366 yards, 7 touchdowns, 6 picks in 2020 in a limited amount of games. And then 2,548 yards, 16 touchdowns, 11 interceptions in 2021. Transfers to Indiana, starting quarterback there last year, 2,300 yards, 13 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Ended up losing his starting job, and it's kind of starting in Missouri. So 1 year in college, starter, transfer starter, now transfer to Bowling Green. So starting for his 3rd program in the last 3 seasons, 4th year as a starter in college football overall. Missouri, Indiana, and now Bowling Green. Quite a ride for him. Was a 4-star recruit back in the 2019 class. 4-star recruit, about 380 overall in the 24/7 Sports composite. Michigan beat him up a little bit last year. They sacked him 7 different times. So maybe he's got a little revenge factor on it. I think what I saw against Liberty, I didn't really pay attention to the film this past week when they beat Eastern Illinois. Watch the film against Liberty. He's in for a world of hurt against Michigan. If he doesn't throw 2-3 interceptions, I'm going to be pretty disappointed. But he can't throw the ball. He's got some talent, so I bet he'll put up a couple hundred yards, but I don't think that he's going to have any threat putting Michigan in danger of losing this game or even being too close once we get into the second half of this game. Reminder, predict the score, Michigan Bowling Green. Put in the live chat if you're watching live. That's cool. But also comment on one of the on-demand videos this week. Just put the score and then put whoever you're going to have win, right? It'll make it easier if you also put the win on one of our videos. And you also must like the video that you commented on to qualify. We're up in the level. We're going to give away $25. At least put the score in and then like the video in the comments on one of our videos this week. Next up to talk about this game, will the JJ McCarthy show roll on? It has been all JJ McCarthy. I think Michigan State's quarterback, Noah Kim, is making some noise. People are excited about him. He's got kind of similar stats to JJ, but he hasn't looked as good as JJ. Drew Aller as well. Aller probably had 2 or 3 passes in his first 2 games that should have been picked off. I think at least 2 of them were probably going back for pick 6 that just literally went through the arms of a defender. That's not what JJ's had here. JJ has looked flawless, 87% passing so far, 558 yards, 5 touchdowns. Is this a September Heisman for him, or is he the real deal? And is this Michigan offense the real deal? As you've heard me say on the live show and the shows we put out, Jim Harbaugh called him maybe a generational quarterback, maybe compared him to, generational quarterback, but compared him to Andrew Luck, I should say. I said this last fall. Jim Harbaugh is certainly someone who does not give free rein to his quarterback. You're never going to see a first-year starter for Jim Harbaugh come out and throw 40 touchdowns like Ohio State's done, a handful of times over the past few years. Justin Fields and C.J. Stroud and Dwayne Haskins, RIP, in their first years. You look back to Andrew Luck, generational quarterback, his second year in the program. 13 touchdowns, 2,600 yards passing, 4 interceptions. Look at the jump he took in that second year, up to 32 touchdowns in his third year in the program, second-year starter, just like JJ McCarthy is at Michigan. So a 19-touchdown leap, nearly a 1,000-yard leap in passing. Jim Harbaugh trusts him, lets it ride. I'm thinking that you could see the same leap, that it's not just a one-time thing. If JJ is going to remain a force at quarterback, Michigan can and maybe will win the national championship. I am picking them to win the national championship. I don't think they can beat Georgia or whoever comes out, Florida State maybe, even Texas, right? I just don't think you're going to win one of these games with other programs that have either the best athletes like a Florida, like a Georgia does. Maybe they don't have the best quarterback, but they have the best roster. Alabama, we'll see what happens to them. They've got 1 loss. They're still definitely in it. But against teams like Florida State or Texas in the playoff, they're going to lose, Michigan is, if they can't throw the ball, if they can't go head-to-head, if they can't go up by 20 points in the first half like Georgia and TCU have done on them the last 2 years in the first half. JJ McCarthy is off to a nice start, okay? 87% completion, already 5 touchdowns passing. So he's on pace, if you were to kind of, put this out over 12 games, the regular season, on pace for 30 touchdowns passing. And he hasn't really played in either of the fourth quarters. Okay, cool. And if you think about a playoff game, a Big Ten championship game, maybe a national championship game, have a couple games you break out, I think JJ McCarthy reasonably should end up with 35-plus touchdowns. If he doesn't hit 30, folks, I think something has gone drastically wrong with the coaching and, frankly, probably with JJ McCarthy's own confidence and play if at this point, with 10 games to go in the regular season and as many as 13 more games left in the season altogether, if JJ McCarthy can't get himself at least 25 more touchdown passes. McCarthy is in my Heisman Trophy race. If you guys haven't seen this, I put it on Twitter every Monday or Tuesday this entire season. Caleb Williams, still number one for me. He's played an extra game, but he's looked good in all three of them. Quinn Ewers, Jordan Travis, they've jumped up in there. They weren't necessarily even on my top 10. Maybe Travis was in the preseason. With their top 5 wins, Ewers this past Saturday over Alabama on the road, Travis over LSU in the opening weekend, and that Sunday night game in a neutral site game. Michael Penix has been throwing the ball all over the field, only quarterback in Indiana to beat Michigan over the last 35 years. He is now transferred to Washington the past 2 years. Shedeur Sanders, we'll see what things shake out. A lot of people have him ranked higher than I do. Sam Hartman, Notre Dame, looked good. He's really going to be a make-or-break candidate based on what he does against Ohio State on September 23rd. I got JJ McCarthy, Drew Aller. Only thing holding those guys back, it's not stats, it's not performance, it's opponents at this point. Keon Coleman, Michigan State, transferred to Florida State, scored another touchdown. He's got 4 in 2 games, and then Travis Hunter at Colorado. I think both those guys at the bottom, it's going to depend on how many touchdowns or game-breaking plays on defensive special teams that Travis Hunter make, whether or not they're going to stay in this top 10 past this week. Has the Michigan offense changed? That's what I am looking at this week. I think that this week and next week are going to tell us a lot. Both opponents, Michigan should easily win. Rutgers, Bowling Green this week, that's fine. But the difference in approach is what I'm most interested in seeing. Is will Michigan let JJ cook, or will they kind of make it, hey, we got to be a running team, force that, even if it doesn't work like it hasn't the last 2 weeks as strongly as Michigan has in the past. We're going to find out that this week. And then Jim Harbaugh comes back against Rutgers. Will he make any drastic changes to the offense now that he's back on the sidelines? I don't know. We're going to find out a week from Saturday. And then see what happens on the road in Nebraska. So by the end of September, we're going to be 5 games into the season, 5 out of 12, which is crazy. There's 5 Saturdays in September. But by the end of September, first road game against Nebraska, big noon kickoff on September 30th. I think you should know everything you need to know on this Michigan football offense. Will the passing game continue to be featured against Bowling Green? Will continue to be featured as Michigan gets into the Big Ten channel? That is the biggest question, or Big Ten schedule, I should say, the biggest question that this team has, and I'm looking for over the next 2 and 3 games for Michigan football. One more question for you guys. If you subscribe to our YouTube channel, give me a Y in the comments or a no live chat as well. If you have, give some shout outs. Want to know who has. Make sure we're always giving attribution, showing some love to the audience. That's a big part of how we've approached the show, giving the community a voice on our program. We feature your questions on the show. We do all kinds of giveaways. So let me know if you subscribe, a Y for yes or an N for no.